Hi everyone, this is our 9-4 Solving Quadratic Equations flipped video. Today we're going to focus not on graphing quadratic equations, although we're going to do that, but really what we're focusing on is solving. Okay, so what does solving mean? Solving means that we're solving for y. We want to find the y-intercept. Excuse me, we want to solve for the x-intercept, okay? That x-intercept is when x, is on here, somewhere along here. So all along here, that means our y is 0. So we're solving for the zeros. We're solving for y by finding the x-intercept. So we've been seeing quadratic equations as y equals x squared plus 3x minus 4. Today what we're going to see is not y equals, but 0 equals. Okay, so why is it set to 0? Because we want to find where are we along the x-axis. Those are the zeros, and that is solving quadratic equations. There's two ways to solve. So first, we're going to learn by our favorite, graphing. Yay! It's a lot of work, but it's also a lot of fun. So here's example A. Our quadratic function, our quadratic equation is 2x squared minus 18 equals, okay, it says 0 before we saw it with y. Okay, so we're going to replace that 0 with y so that we can graph it. So first step, as always, find the axis of symmetry. So x equals negative b. We don't have a b. 0 over 2 times 2, our x equals 0. Our axis of symmetry is 0. Let's use that to find the vertex. 2 times 0 squared minus 18 equals y. Y equals a negative 18. So that means our vertex is at 0, negative 18. Oh boy, that's going to be fun to graph. And then our y-intercept, okay, we're looking at C. So our y-intercept is 0, negative 18. Same point. Step 4. Choose 2 extra points for x. I chose x equals 1 and x equals 2. Taking our quadratic equation, 2 times x squared, now it's a 1 squared, minus 18 equals y. 1 squared is 1, 2 minus 18 equals y. Y equals a negative 16. So our point becomes 1, negative 16. And our x equals 2. 2 times 2 squared minus 18 equals y. 2 squared is 4. 2 times 4 minus 18 equals, y. Y equals, 2 times 4 is 8 minus 18. Y equals a negative 10. Our next point is 2, negative 10. So let's start our graph. I made our coordinate plane and I set each point on the x-axis and y-axis as multiples of 2. So I went 2, 4, 6, 2, 4, 6, negative 2, negative 4, negative 6, and down in the other direction. So let's graph in orange, why not? Okay, so our x equals 0. So we're actually on the y-axis for our axis of symmetry. Our vertex we found is 0, negative 18, so that's right there. Our 2 extra points that we found were 1, negative 16. It's going to be right there. Okay, not quite at 2 because I'm at 1. And then our second point we said 2, negative 10. That's going to be right there. And now let's mirror it. So I'm 1 over, let's go 1 over. I am 2 over, let's go 2 over, I'm going to write in the middle of my 10, that's okay. And then let's graph the parabola. Yay, I've graphed my parabola, but I haven't actually answered the question. I haven't found the zeros. I haven't found the x-intercepts. So it looks to me like my graph hits the x-axis right there and right there. That to me looks like I'm going to check x equals 3 and x equals negative 3. I'm definitely going to have 2 zeros. I'm going to have 2 answers. My graph hits the x-axis twice. I will have 2 zeros. To me it looks like negative 3 and 3. So let's check it. My equation was 2 times x squared minus 18. That should equal 0. 2 times 9 minus 18 equals 0. 18 minus 18, that is 0. That means that x equals 3 is one of my zeros. Now let's check for x equals negative 3. I'm going to have to erase this to give us some space. Sorry guys. 2 times a negative 3 squared minus 18. Does that equal 0? 2 times negative 3 squared is 9. This looks awfully similar. 18 minus 18. 0 equals 0. Yay! So we've checked, and our 2 zeros are x equals 3 and x equals negative 3. Let's try the next one. This is B. X squared minus 8x minus 16 equals 2x squared. Before I could start my step 1, I have a problem. That equation is not in standard form. I need to make my 2x squared all on the same side. X squared minus 2x squared is a negative x squared minus 8x minus 16. That equals then 0. And for the purposes of graphing, we're going to say it equals y. So x equals negative b over 2a. X equals negative 8 over 2 times a, which is a negative 1. 8 over negative 2. That means my axis of symmetry is x equals negative 4. My vertex is negative 4 squared minus 8 times a negative 4. Sorry, that's negative. Minus 16 equals y. A negative 4 squared is a positive 16 times our negative sign is a negative 16. Negative 8 plus, negative 8 times a negative 4 is positive 32. Minus 16 equals y. Negative 16 plus 32 is a positive 16. Minus 16, that equals, I already did it for us, equals 0. So our vertex is negative 4, 0. And our y-intercept is at negative 16. So y-intercept is 0, negative 16. Oh my gosh. Okay. So we found our, let's check, we found our axis of symmetry, we found our vertex, we found our y-intercept. Now let's choose 2 extra points. I chose x equals negative 3, x equals negative 2, negative 3 squared minus 8x minus 16 equals y. Negative 3 squared is positive 9. Oops, this is a 3. There we go. Negative 8 times negative 3 is a positive 24. Minus 16 equals y. That gives us a negative 9 plus 24 minus 16. Let's combine our negatives. That gives us negative 25 plus 24 is a negative 1 equals y. So our point is negative 3, negative 1. Let's try x equals 2. Negative 2 squared minus 8 times negative 2 minus 16. Negative 2 squared is 4. Minus 8 times negative 2 plus 16 minus 16. Negative 4 plus 16 minus 16 is negative 4. So our second point is negative 2, negative 4. Alright, let's graph. So our axis of symmetry is x equals negative 4. That is, I went negative 1, negative 2, negative 3. This is negative 4. And our vertex is negative 4, 0. Right there. No, that's not very good. There we go. And our 2 points we chose were negative 3, negative 1, that's right there. A negative 2, negative 4. That's right there. Oops, I'm a little off. Negative 4. Oh, and our y-intercept was 0, negative 16, negative 2, negative 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, that's way off our chart. Way down there. Sorry, guys. Alright, so now let's reflect. I'm 1 away. Let's go 1 away. I'm 2 away. Go 2. And our y-intercept is way off the graph, so I'm just going to go down. Okay. And there's our parabola. We are negative. It is a negative quadratic. Where does it look like our x-intercept is? It looks to me right there. And it is. That is our vertex. We know that it intersects at a negative, oops, you can't see white. Negative 4, 0. Okay, so our solution then is negative 4. That is the only one. There isn't any others. Okay? Good job, everyone. That was a long video. We did 2 different examples. Try and see if you can solve your own example and submit your answer in the Google form below. Good luck! And we'll be talking about this tomorrow. Good night.